just told him, Adam, it's too much for me. Like, this is too much. It's all becoming too much for me. And I'm going to retire. And Adam said, you're making a very rash decision. And I won't let you do that. We had a long, great conversation, very helpful to me. Very thankful to play in a league with a commissioner like Adam, who's more about helping you than hurting you, or helping you than punishing you, or he's more about the players.
Oh my God! All right, shout out to Draymond.
Don't shout that man out. Like, he's talking about, I'm so thankful we have a commissioner. Like, Draymond, all we asked was that you just stop hitting your coworkers. All we asked was you just stop assaulting people.
He said, "I'm appreciative of a commissioner that doesn't hurt people like you, Draymond." Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. Jax, what was the initial reaction to just all of this? Honestly,
all we wanted you to do, just stop hitting people, Draymond. He's acting like a toddler, like a 4-year-old. He said he's going to quit because he can't hit people anymore. Like, Adam Silver, you should have let him retire. Like, if I was Adam Silver, I'd been like, you really want to retire? I mean, okay. He got the rings. He got like 4 rings. He got the hundreds of millions of dollars, got all the connections he needs. Go ahead, retire, because you're just being annoying and embarrassing, and stop it. I don't get it. How did you feel when you heard those comments?
You're not gonna like what I was about to say, yo. But you're gonna have to understand where I'm coming from.
I'm not going to.
You're gonna have to understand. I'm gonna have to. Hey, look, I ain't gonna lie. Walk with me, Jax.
I'm sitting down.
Walk with me. I gotta blame LeBron a little bit for this one. Gotta blame LeBron about this. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not too much. Just a little bit. It is okay. LeBron has made it almost an expectation and a standard to be playing for so longevity. Everybody don't have to have a 15-year career. Everybody doesn't have to have a 12-year career. You can leave at 10. You can have a solid 10. Draymond, you at 11. If you was to retire this year, hey, hell of a run. You're going to the Hall of Fame. It is okay. I hate this notion that you have to drag and crawl out of the league before it's like, okay, it's time for me to retire. It's been time for you to retire. Chris Paul, it's been time for you to pack that shit up.
Leave Chris Paul out of this. Leave the GOAT point guard out of this, bro.
Look, well, let's just bring it back to Draymond. We can admit, Draymond, you can pack it up, and nobody would be like, oh my God, he still has something left in the tank. Who cares? You are not Kobe. You are not LeBron. You don't have to play 19, 20 years. There's a lot of players that I was just like, you know what? You stayed too long. Paul Pierce, you stayed too long.
Yeah.
You stayed way too. We did not need to see you with the Clippers. That was not your peak, or like where you should have left on that high note when you hit that game winner with the Wizards. And you was like, yo, this is why they brought me here. That was a cool moment. But you knew your decline was when you was with the Nets. You threw your headband to the crowd, and they threw it right back to you.
Threw it right back at them.
And you was at home. That was a home game. A crazy thing to do at a home game. So I say it's not really LeBron's fault. I'm not faulting him, but I am blaming the expectations. Like they do Tom Brady. Like, yo, he played for so fucking long. Yo, that don't have to be you. And that was the main thing I got out of that, because why do you think this is a rash decision? That's not a rash decision. Go make that nigga retire. Go home, Draymond.
Go home, Roger. We don't need you.
Steve Kerr out here crying for what?
He said him and Steve Kerr met up at his house and just cried. He said he was in his man cave in his house for 3 days before his kids realized. Like, what are you doing?
A bar though. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's a bar right
there. Just don't hit people. Just Just don't hit people, bro.
Nigga was
Please.
hiding from his kids, and his kids dragged him up out of there. I was like, hey, I felt that one. I ain't gonna lie.
You don't have kids.
Huh?
You don't
Hey,
have. How did you?
hey, but I raised some nephews, and look, the way I was trying to dodge during Christmas time, Uncle Greg. You see, hey, I was trying to hide a little bit too. I was trying to sneak me a little nap. Hey, I understood that one, and I didn't even have, I don't have custody. You feel me? Like I'm just responsible for the 2 days forever. Oh no, I Draymond, I get that one. I get that one. That had more to do with them kids than it was. Oh, dad's home for 3 days? Oh no, that nigga was cut. He was not trying to deal with that.
Nah, that's real. That's real. That's real.
Real as fuck. I get it. But we didn't really want to harp on it too much. We just wanted to tie it into the Warriors blowing this shit up. We got a report, honestly, today, like a few hours ago, that they're willing to trade anybody that's not Stephen Curry. And
they should have been on that type of timing.
Been on that kind of time.
On that type of timing.
If we being honest, you should have started moving major dominoes after that Draymond Green punch. If we being honest,
they should have started moving major dominoes after that championship, that last championship. They should have realized, like, hey,
I mean that happened. The punch happened like 3 months after the championship.
In 22?
Yeah, the off season.
Oh, you're talking about that? I see. He done has so many punches. I didn't know which punch you were talking about.
About the Jordan Poole punch.
I didn't know. That's how many issues he's had.
Oh,
I was just like, what are you talking? I was like, what punch? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's how you know. Hey, that's how you know they've been cooked for a minute.
There are literally Draymond Green fight night highlights of him just punching people, kicking people in the nuts, tackling people. Like
tackle the shit out of Kevin Porter Jr.
I mean, that's commendable. It's Kevin Porter Jr.
I know, but at the time, I'm like, nigga, it don't look like you intentionally tried to do it. It look like you just fell on the nigga.
Like, I don't get it with Draymond, and then I also don't get it with the Warriors because it doesn't seem like they know what they're doing. There are reports that I think actually Kuminga reported it himself or something, or like he told Shams himself or something like that.
Moody. Hell yeah, both of them.
Him and Moses Moody, they both said like, we don't have faith in Steve Kerr. We don't like how we're being used, etc. And like these are supposed to be like the two of the young cornerstones that's gonna like build the team out while Steph and Draymond and Clay get old. And like Steve Kerr, we talked about it a couple times before, and how he's not really what a lot of people thought he was as a coach. He's not that good. He's not that coach. He's not him. He's not one of the top coaches. And I mean, you could just sort of see it in the way he's managing players. It's the end of an era, end of a dynasty. It feels like.
I commend the attempt of the Warriors, but ultimately, how I felt about this stance, and I was, at the time, didn't want to press that button because Jordan Poole was going off, but I can confidently say it now. You can't develop young stars and be in win now championship mode simultaneously and think that one is not going to suffer. You're not going to get the best out of your young stars unless unless your young star is the contributing factor. Like if it's a Jason Tatum situation, okay. But if you have solidified stars and then you have a developmental factor of like, okay, this is the next gen, but you're still not ready to let some of these old niggas go just yet. At some point, you got to get rid of some. They had to get rid of Kyrie Irving at some point. You know what I mean? They had to. People don't remember this. Nurkic and Jokic used to be on the same team. They had to get rid of Nurkic. You know what I mean? Like there are times where it's like, yo, you have to move off them and extending Draymond Green. No, buddy. Now, did you flop? Yes, you flopped when you got James Wiseman. That's it is what it is.
I don't even think they really flopped with that. I think it was like a combination of injuries, and then like you said, like they couldn't develop the young players well while still doing it with their stars. So I think James Wiseman, he probably could have been good, but now he might be cooked now. I don't think it's
just like, but even I just said it was a bad pick mainly because he could have been a good player. but that's not the kind of center that they even accustomed to having on the roster. You used to a Kevon Looney, a Maurice Spates, a David Lee, somebody that just fits a JaVale McGee, somebody that just fits the role, damn near gets rebounds, running dunk man kind of. And this James Wiseman, you out here trying to give you little head fakes, dribble pull ups. That's a different kind of player.
I feel like they drafted him because it was one of those things like you had to take him because you're at the top of the draft, and like that's just a player that you take, even though he didn't really fit their timeline or what they're normally accustomed to. And like honestly, if they really should just traded the pick if it was going to be like that, honestly. But hindsight's 2020, so
that is very true. Hindsight is 2020, and you thought Jordan Poole would be a lot better than he is too before giving him that big ass bag. So, hey man, at the end of the day, none of that excuses why the fuck you decided to get Chris Paul, but that's just more added shit to this situation. Steve Kerr, he's a good coach, might be even a great coach, but every organization has its flaws. Shout out to Bob Myers though. Shout out to Bob Myers.